This is Heath,
And I'm Josh.
and this is Randomness. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. You done anything since yesterday? Because we recorded yesterday.
Yeah, the last episode.
Yeah, the last one. We can actually talk about it because it's going to come out before this one. So it was flipping awesome.
Yeah,
We had Jarrett Reddick on from Bowling for Soup, and it was really cool. I actually put a little Bowling for Soup shirt on today,
hey, represent.
and represent, and we're going to go see him tomorrow. So that's even
Yeah,
cooler.
that's exciting.
Uh, but yeah, I haven't done anything. I went to work. I guess that's something, but nothing fun.
Right.
Do anything. Oh wait, I got a story. I
Okay.
forgot. So a while ago, not to paint any nasty pictures, but I was taking a shower, and had my head like under the water. You know how when you have your head under the water, you can't really hear that
hmm
well. I swear to God, I heard a man's voice go, "Hey," and I fell on my fat butt in the shower, bro. I turned and I was like, "What the?" And Cody and Riker are here, and I'm like, "What?" It's some dude comes in here, and I swear to God, someone, "Hey." I was taking a shower and scared the crap out of me.
I don't know. That might have
So,
been God.
yeah.
Who knows?
Well, he wanted me to fall on my butt because I
Uh,
did. Uh, I didn't fall hard, thank goodness, but I did fall right on my butt. Thank goodness that shower is humongous. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble. But yeah, there's my story. Beat that.
well,
What you
glad you
got?
didn't break your coccyx. So,
My
yeah.
coccyx. I have broke
There
my
you go.
coccyx
Yeah.
before.
Or re-break it.
Yeah, I broke. Man, remember at Texas, Six Flags, they had the bobsled
hmm
one. Do you remember that? Oh, dude, me and Cody and Riker got on that thing, and it wasn't enough weight in it, and I was sitting in the back. The very first freaking dip we hit, I come out of that thing and slam my butt down on it, and I broke on the first one. So I had to go through the rest of the ride with a broken tailbone. It was
And the rest of
horrible.
the day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had, I probably was. It was about the second ride.
Mm.
And I'm like walking around going, I don't know about all rest of this. Y'all just got to go and all this stuff by yourself. But that adds to all the bones I've broken. It wasn't as bad as the back. Breaking the back was the worst, but
Step on a crack, break your mother's back.
breaking mom's back. Have you broken any bones before?
I think maybe
Oh,
my
you
my
broke your,
pinky, but the major one was the clavicle. So
yeah, because you had to have that like screwed back together.
like there's plates. There's a plate in there. So I was told
Yeah, that's right.
the trauma was so bad it looked like I was in a car accident.
You kind of
it
were.
exploded it. No, it was like a scooter, electric scooter.
Yeah, but you're inebriated.
No. But so I tell people it was a motorcycle accident.
It's a motorcycle accident. That's funny. That's crazy. And you rode all the way back home after you broke it and then like slept too, didn't you? Before you went to the
No,
doctor the next
I
day?
calmed down and went to the emergency room.
Oh,
But I
okay.
did
I
ride
got the
back
story.
one-handed, one-armed.
One-armed scooter rider.
Like a one-armed bandit.
All right. Yeah. All right. So we have another guest this time. Sorry, I gotta stop laughing. I was thinking about Josh riding with one-handed and broke collarbone, and me falling in the shower and all that at one time. But anyway, so we have another guest. Something out of our normal. How do I don't? It's a little bit out of the box for us because
Yeah.
we usually don't go this way. But so we thought, hey, let's do something different. So with us, we have the 2023-24 Texas State Cinderella woman Cheyenne Thomas with us. How you doing?
Welcome.
I'm doing great. Oh, I love the applause. That's so cute.
Well, we'll do it again. I was almost gonna do this one, but
That might have been, I don't know.
we could have got real bad and been like, but
I mean, it kind of fits me as well, so it's fine.
well, all right. Now we know a little bit more. So then maybe I don't know. Maybe we edit that out, Cheyenne. I don't know. So
That don't bother me.
so yeah, as I was saying a while ago, you're definitely out of our house of what we usually do, and I just thought I was like, hey, I know your mother and what you do and whatnot. I was like, hey, we should hit her up to see if she would like to do this. And sure enough, you were very nice to say yes. So
Yes.
here we are.
I was
And
excited to say yes.
You were excited to say yes. All right. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been having fun doing it. So to have someone out of our wheelhouse is really cool because it's so different. We get to ask you stuff that we're not used to asking people. So we're gonna try not to be all pageant y, if you will, but we are gonna hit on it
Yeah.
obviously. But
Totally
yeah.
fine. I'm ready.
All right. But you're from the Houston area, like Spring, right? That's where you're from originally.
Originally, yes, I grew up in Spring my entire life, and we just recently moved to College Station about a year ago for school.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to A&M, and I can't remember. Your mom mentioned. I know it was like for veterinarian and poultry science.
Yes, so my actual major is poultry science, but I consider myself pre-vet because veterinary school is the only professional school where you don't need an undergrad to get in.
Mm.
And so someone had told me, "Hey, look into doing poultry science instead of animal science because it's much smaller classes, you get more one-on-one help with your teachers, and there's not like 1,000 people in your actual major where, teachers, you'll recycle through a lot of them. You'll know basically everyone that you're in classes with because they'll be in the same classes throughout the entire thing. Whereas animal science, you're put in a classroom with like 300 plus people in it and you barely know the person
Uh,
next to you.
It's like an auditorium is
yeah.
seating.
Yeah. But been there, done that. I know what you mean because I have done that, and it's not. I mean, it's actually a horrible way of teaching, to be honest with you. But
So
And
last
it's
yeah,
year,
hard for me.
yeah. I mean, it's probably hard for most. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is. It's a bad way of teaching. What were you saying,
so
Josh? Go
last
ahead.
year I got backyard chickens. So like, can you answer like chicken questions for me if I ever have any?
So it depends on what type of
Okay.
question. Like if you call me at 3 o'clock in the morning and say I have an egg stuck in my chicken, I have no idea what to. Actually, no, I take that back. I have a video on TikTok of what to do. So
Okay.
come at me with any chicken questions.
Cool.
Well, I'll tell you what. You send that to us, and we will post it. That's for sure.
Good deal.
Sorry. All right. So let's kind of start from the beginning. Let's make it a little formal here. So you've been doing pageants since you were basically a baby, right?
Yes, since I was 6 months old, my mom put me in pageants as I guess kind of a way to meet people. She was I was only 6 months old. She was freshly like trying to get into the swing of things. My brother was still young, and someone was like, "Hey, just put her in a pageant, see how this goes." And she was like, "I don't know, we'll see." So at state, we were told that you should change these clothes. You should not do this. She shouldn't wear gel sandals that you got from Sears for the international pageant. And my mom's like, "I'm a single mother. I don't have that much money, so I'm not gonna go buy like a $300 dress for a infant." And so she took me
Right.
to the international pageant, and I ended up winning international infant in 2004 or 2005, one of the two. Yeah,
Wow.
but I've
You're
grown
aging
up
us now.
in I've grown up in this pageant system my entire life. It's where I've met most of my closest friends. It's where a lot of my mentors are. And I've gotten to the point where I now have little ones looking up to me, which makes me feel really good about being able to do this and being able to be that role model for them.
That's awesome. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I did like. Do you I don't want to take it from serious to not serious, but I mean, what
It's
is
fun.
there any part of it that you don't like where that you're okay with talking about? I mean,
Yes,
I don't want
yes.
to.
You're good. So the biggest thing for me is there's five categories, you could say, for what we call the big girl pageant. There's tot, miniature miss, miss, teen, and woman. I am the woman, the oldest age group. It's 18 to 29, and the tot age group is 4 to 7. So I competed as a tot up until I was 7 years old and could not compete anymore. But when you hit miniature miss, you have to have a talent. And for me, I was not one who was in the dance studio, 18 hours a week. I cannot sing to save my life. My family says I kill cats when I sing. It's that bad.
Oh,
And
so you are
so,
like your mother. Okay.
hey, she can sing. And my brother is basically pitch perfect. I don't know how I
That's
missed
cool.
that gene, but it's fine.
Uh,
I'm not
I have
salty
a pitch
about
on it.
it. But I didn't really have a true talent per se because I knew there were other girls who were spending, 20 hours a week in a dance studio or taking vocal lessons. And so I walked away from the overall pageant when I was 8 because I didn't have any type of talent. And when I
Mm,
turned 18, I kind of just did the modeling competitions and cameo, the little extra things on the side that aren't a part of the full pageant. So when I turned 18, it was actually my director's 20th year directing. It was her anniversary. And so we all came back and watched finals. And I looked at my mom. I was like, Mama, I want to figure out how to do this again. Like, I will come up with whatever talent possible, even if it's not the greatest. I want to be a part of this system again, this family again. And so I
right on.
actually had someone who was in my dance class in high school come up with a quick talent for me. It was nothing special. It was thrown together in like a month right before the competition. And so,
Uh-huh.
if there was anything that I could truly change that I don't truly like is talent. I wish there
The
was
talent
a
part.
different option because there are girls out there who have dreamt about having this crown but don't think that they are the best dancer or the best singer or they, can't play an instrument. I wish there was something else that we could do instead.
Right.
Maybe like a fitness type thing or being able to give a speech on something that you're passionate about. Because if that were the case, I would have been doing that this entire time because I love
Right.
everything about it. I just never felt that my strong suit was talent. And from watching everyone else who wins overall crowns, they have a really good talent. So that's not always been my favorite, but
Right.
it's still a part of everything and I still love it. And I honestly try and capture the judges' hearts through interview versus a lot of the on stage stuff.
Gotcha. Well, you must have been doing something right. I
I
mean,
guess
you
so.
are where you are. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you are where you are, so you obviously you've done something.
Yeah,
But
I
so
worked
the
really
second part,
hard.
but
I worked
yeah,
really hard
I
on my
bet.
talent. Oh, it was a lot.
Yeah, but that's how you get. I mean, I have zero talent either. Josh can tell you. Uh, but I mean, if I wanted to, I would have to work, really hard to do it too, because
Yeah.
I wasn't born with that gift to for things like that to come easy to me.
I
So
have
yeah, it
some
makes a lot of
dancing
sense.
abilities. I was on a country western dance team in high school, and so I have some background in dance. I'm just not the best lyrical dancer, which is usually what wins. And so I'm not doing the
Oh, I
fancy
see.
turns, doing many jumps. I'm not extremely flexible like the other girls, but I found some amazing dance teachers slash some of my mentors who I've competed with help me come up with something that fits for me and fits for what I am able to do. So it shows what I'm strong at instead of showing my weaknesses.
All right on.
Yeah.
Can you guys not like have someone come in to do something with you? Like, say if you had a dance partner, or does it has to be
So
by yourself?
we kind of figured out that that is possible. We were not able to figure it out for me this year because we wanted it to be a part of my story and my background of what happened to me. And so I did a contemporary dance to This Is Me, and I had one of my friends help me do it and fix things in it and change things. And I absolutely love it. It always makes me tear up on stage when I do it, but I have figured out that partner work is acceptable. And so
Oh,
I'm actually working on something right now with a friend, and that will be part
oh,
of my talents this year because we have
nice.
to perform during preliminary events and during state between competitions. We perform our talents. So we have to have 4 to 5. And so I'm actually working on something that I'm really excited about with a friend.
Cool.
Right on. Look at me uncovering secrets.
I think everyone kind of knew it was coming at some point because we were like poking around, like, "Hey, is partner work acceptable?" But I'm very excited. I'm very excited about it.
Right on. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what? So, what is your? I know. I think your favorite part is probably all the friendships and all that good stuff that you've made. But
Mhm.
that can be part of it. Go ahead and tell us that because I'm sure that's whatever. But what else is like your favorite part of it as far as like maybe getting ready for this or doing that? I don't know. Whatever. We know zero about pageants, lady. So you tell. So I mean, just what is I mean, it's like kind of the backstage thing. We have no idea how that we know nothing. So I'm just kind of like, what's your favorite part of the whole process?
So I am gonna say the friendships you make and the people you meet, obviously, but it
That's what I figured.
also teaches lots of life skills and people skills and things that you take into the real world. My coach was talking to me one day at the international pageant, and she was like, "Look, Cheyenne, one of my close friends, we walked away with different crowns, different titles, different times." But we both walked away from the program with the same things, with the same people skills, being able to talk in front of crowds, being able to make friends easily, being able to go into an interview and have the confidence to speak in front of someone.
That's
Because
a huge thing.
at
Yeah.
4 years old, you were sitting in front of a panel of judges, being told to sit still, keep your hands in your lap. Know that these people are just going to talk to you. They're going to ask you questions. They want to be your friend. And you're just going to tell them about yourself. And that's what they want to hear.
Yeah.
The parties are
I
a
bet
big
you're
part of
awesome.
it too. I love the parties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're awesome at like a interview for work or something. They're like, "Holy crap, this girl's polished as hell," you know.
Yes.
And
I
I bet
started
that.
working with a new pageant coach this year, and she's really helped push me over the top of where I needed to be. I started working basically after state happened last year. We got on the phone with her and we're like, we need your help. There's something missing. There's something that we have to do. Cheyenne needs more because a lot of the times I would go to interview coaching and people would just say, "Oh, you're doing great. You're fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing wonderful." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that's not really helping. Like, I'm asking what I need approval, like what I need to improve on." And so when I started working with my coach now, she was like, "Okay, you're amazing, but why don't we tweak this a little bit? Why don't we change this word to be this instead of this?" And so a lot of her coaching this year has also been good preparation for vet school interviews for me because interviews are right around the corner. I'm applying pretty soon and I'm going to have to sit in front of a panel of people
Yeah,
who are wondering whether or not I would fit into the vet school. So that's a really big part of it.
it's gonna be a breeze for
Yeah.
you.
Well, that's a good coach.
I mean,
Is
I hope.
Yeah, a good coach will see those, those weaknesses and expound on them and push you forward and get you to improve. Have you ever considered on
So
doing that yourself, is to be a coach maybe later on?
I actually do. We coach younger girls on how to do on basically beginners, on girls that are just walking in and wanting to do the Cinderella for the first time. If they're around us or if they're able to Zoom with us, we're able to teach them how to walk properly, good interview skills, especially for the tots, being able to do what we call tot personality, which is their version of talent, which they're just little ones standing on stage getting asked questions and trying to make everyone in the crowd laugh. And it is very fun to watch. But that's been kind of a side thing for us as well. I do kind of have to put it on pause a little bit because I am a reigning queen and I just don't want anyone to be like, "Well, she worked with the queen, so obviously she's gonna win." But after
uh,
this year, I'm gonna go right back to coaching because I
Okay.
like helping little ones.
Awesome.
so you're at the top of it now. So where are you going from here? Like, where are you trying to be? I don't know how this works. So you go to Miss Texas pageant at some point? I mean, where? I have no idea. Are you even close? I don't know.
So Cinderella is its own pageant system. There's a ton of different pageant systems out there.
I got you. Okay.
The next step for me, pageant wise, is I can no longer compete at Texas State because I won the highest crown, and there's no other age group. But I can still compete at the international pageant until I either win the crown or turn 29 and age out. So I have a feeling I won't be competing until I'm 29, because my life plans don't involve still competing in a pageant at 29 years old, just because of vet school and everything. I don't know. Maybe I will down the line, but I can still continue to compete there. I am in the process of being convinced to possibly do a different pageant system later on down the road. I don't know about that, but I'm just enjoying this the best I can, because everyone says the year flies by so quickly, and I have literally waited my entire life to have this crown. And considering this is the first one I've ever won and most likely will be the last one, it kind of holds a special place for me.
Well, don't say that. It's not gonna be the last
Yeah.
one.
I don't
Can
know.
you
I don't
can you
know.
can you win it again? I mean, if you or is it once you get it, that's it?
Once I get it, that is it. I can no longer
Ah,
win this crown again. Yes,
which
I
could be
know.
a blessing if you're ready to move on. If that's where
Yes.
you wanted to stop, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. I've waited for this for a while, and my mom kept telling me that your time will come when God wants it to be your turn. And the past 2 years that I've been competing, I've been upset that, I didn't win the crown. I really wanted to win the crown. But thinking back on it, I wasn't ready. It wasn't my time. 2 years ago, when I freshly came back, when I was 18 years old and competing as a woman, I made top three and recompeted. And I made second alternate to the overall crown, which was really cool. One of my friends won that year, and I was a little upset at first. I was blessed because I had no intentions of recompeting, to the point where my clothes to recompete in were upstairs in the hotel room, and my brother had to like zoom out of the auditorium to go grab my clothes so I could recompete.
Wow.
But that was actually the year that I ended up getting really sick. And so if I had won the crown, I would not have been able to fully enjoy my
Mm.
reign and enjoy the time with the girls. And last year, it wouldn't have been my time either, because I was moving cities. I was coming to College Station. I was trying to get into the swing of college, and I went through a very rough patch in the beginning, just because I didn't feel like I had a place that I fit in. I couldn't make friends that easily, just because classes were so intense. I was spending most of my time in my bedroom studying
Mm.
or in a tutor's room. But we kept telling myself that if it were to be my year of any time, it was going to be this year. And so I
Well,
worked my tail off all year long and prayed for this very hard. And I'm so glad that I got to have that special moment.
Awesome.
well, that's
Yeah.
awesome, and it was meant to be, you know? And
Amen.
Yes.
you brought up being sick, and I wasn't going to, so are you okay with talking about when you got real sick
Yes.
and that
Yes.
so what I know very little just because I never asked your mother because I didn't wanna get into anything personal, but what exactly happened and what you're comfortable telling us?
Oh, total. I've told this story many times, and this was part of my, I not, I guess, kind of platform. It was a big part of my interview as well, because my talent is basically the story of overcoming, is what we say. Because it is the story of me being broken down, bruised, hurt, and building myself back up and having confidence again. 2 years ago at the international pageant, I woke up one morning with my stomach hurting, and I wasn't quite sure. My mom was like, "You probably just pulled a muscle. It's not a big deal. You're fine. Get out of bed. You have an expensive pageant to finish." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." But as it continued on, the day that we were leaving, the pain was really there. I could barely get out of bed. We came home, and for 2.5 weeks, it was still hurting. And I'm like, why won't my stomach stop hurting? What is going on? And so, like, I looked up on Google, wormhole, obviously. Why is my stomach hurting? Many things popped up. And
Yeah.
I looked on like appendicitis, maybe, but then there were so many symptoms, and I'm like, the only thing that's really I have a symptom of is my stomach hurts. And so one morning I was just doubled over in pain, crying on the couch, and my mom was like, I have a new job that I'm starting today. Like, I can't call in. I'm like, I'll be fine until tomorrow. You're fine. Just go. She's like, whatever, I'm taking you to the ER. Let's go. You're probably just constipated. Let's go. So she told my brother we're leaving. We got to the ER and it took maybe about 30 minutes. They did a couple samples, they did an ultrasound, and then they come to us with a wheelchair and they're like, "We're admitting her." And my mom's like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "Oh, no one told you? She has appendicitis. She's coming with us. She's being admitted into the hospital right now." I'm like, "Oh, wow. Okay."
Wow.
And so we thought, when you hear appendicitis, your appendix ruptures, you could die. They have to take it out immediately. Not in my
Right.
case. My case was that my appendix perforated, which means I got like a little slit in it. And so it had been leaking acid
Mm.
into my like entire system inside of my stomach for 2.5 weeks.
Slowly. Wow.
Whoa.
And yeah, and so it was creating a bunch of abscesses that were hurting my stomach, and that's partly where the pain was
Oh,
coming
wow.
from. And so I had to have a bunch of surgeries to have drains put in. I had multiple IVs, I had a PICC line put in, and they were like, "Well, we can't take your appendix out just yet because your stomach is too inflamed." Because of everything that was happening, my stomach, my intestines, everything, it was so inflamed that the only way that they could take my appendix out is if they cut me completely open from like here all the way down. And I'm like, my mom's like, she's 18 years old.
Yikes.
She's not going to walk around with a giant scar going down her entire torso. So we waited. We had the drains done. I went home after about a month and a half, and I still had to do IV injections for antibiotics, but I was still feeling sick. 2 weeks later, I ended up going back to the hospital, and they're like, "You know what? We're gonna take it out now. Okay, your appendix is gonna be gone. Peace out. You'll never have to deal with it again." Well, my grandma had told my mom, "You need to ask them to test for something." And so we had them run a couple of extra tests, and it turns out that I ended up having E. coli, a blood infection, and C. diff. And the E.
Yikes.
coli and the blood infection they were able to manage those with antibiotics and get rid of those, but it turns out that the C. diff had become antibiotic resistant. And if you don't know what that is, it is basically a nasty bacteria that lives in your intestines when you are on high dose antibiotics for way too long. And that's what I was
Wha-
on for an entire month
Wow.
and a
Hmm.
half was high dose antibiotics to help get rid of the abscesses I had. And so that was the entire a lot of the beginning of the hospital stays are like a blur because there was so much pain. It was truly a traumatic
Right.
experience for me. Like, I was lucky enough that I had papers to have my mom be my medical attorney because I did just turn 18. And so a lot of
Hmm.
the times they were like, "Well, she's 18. She can tell us what her pain is." And I'm like, "I
Uh,
can't say a word because I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm crying in my mom's arms saying like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this. Mom, just let it take me. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore," just because the pain got so unbearable. And she was like,
man.
"Y'all don't understand. I have my child crying in my arms, and you're trying to ask her to point to which smiley face or frowning face she's feeling. No, that's not going to
Yeah.
happen." And
Awful.
it
Wow.
was a very hard time. And the C. diff actually stayed with me for 10 months after I left the
Oh,
hospital,
wow.
and we tried
Good
many
Lord.
different things. They're like, "Look, it could kill you in a month, it could kill you in a year, or you could be fine with it for the rest of your life." I'm like, "Well, I don't like having to go to the bathroom 10 times a day. I don't like being sick 24/7." And they were like, "There's nothing that we can do." We looked up to try and do different clinical trials for things, but every single one of them I had to have tested negative and then positive again. But I was just testing positive the entire time, so they're like, "We can't do anything." We found a chiropractor who gave us a medical book that a man spent his entire life coming up with this protocol, and there was one in it for C. diff. And so we're like, you know what? I've been through the ringer already. We might as well try this.
Yeah.
And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so 9 times a day, every hour on the hour, I had to drink a mixture of sodium chloride and hydrochloric acid.
Oh my gosh.
So I was drinking straight up acid 9 times a day for an entire month to try and get rid of this stuff that was living inside me that could potentially kill me. And the hardest part of that was keeping it on the correct schedule, and then I only had, like, a 15-minute window in between each dose that I could actually eat food, and I could only eat certain types of food, and if I wanted to have anything that I'm not allowed to during the dosing period, it had to be 2 hours prior to the first dose or 2 hours after the last dose. So it was
Yeah.
difficult because I couldn't have my caffeine drinks, and so I was kind of a monster
Yeah, it, like,
when that
neutralizes the
happened,
acid,
but
so yeah, you need it to have be the full strength and not neutralize it.
and so we did that, had the test run again, and last year on talent day, after I had performed my talent, which it was a lot for me physically for my body because I lost so much strength. Afterwards, there was a group of us standing outside, and that was when my mom told me that I officially got the all clear and that I was 100% healthy and I was
Wow.
okay, and it was a very emotional moment for me because I had all of my
I
Cinderella
bet.
family with me because they
Oh,
are who
sure.
truly got me through that really rough patch of my life. If I hadn't come back to Cinderella that year, I honestly don't know if I would be sitting here today because it was so hard, and they were such a big support system for me. They sent me flowers, they sent me stuffed animals, blankets, hoodies, cards saying "get well." My favorite card, it says, "This is a hug" on it, and my friend wrote me this cute little note inside, and one of the things he wrote, it said, "God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors," and that was something that truly stuck with me, and it still sticks with me to this day. And it truly is the Cinderella family that saved my life, and that was what a big part of my platform and my dance was that was my story of overcoming and fighting off every obstacle that has been thrown my way.
Wow. You got me in the
Yeah.
feels. I'm like almost I'm a Josh will get tell you I'm a crier. Um
Yeah.
uh
Amen.
but good God, for you have to go through all that at that
Yeah.
age and what a Jesus woman.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So
I didn't mean to make you
no,
cry.
I'm a huge crier. Josh can very
Yeah.
I'm a very emotional person. But to go through that at that
Mm.
age and have to deal with all that and then have to deal with the fact that they were making you do those decisions and you're like, I can't. I'm freaking dying over here.
Yeah,
Just
it was
what a
hard being able to I've been I grew up very sheltered, and so, it's always been just me and my mom and my brother, and so, like, we're very close, and being young, 18 years old, everyone's like, "Well, you're 18, you're an adult now, you can speak for yourself." I'm like, I am huddled over in pain, crying, and you're trying to tell me to speak to you. Like, this is a
yeah,
horrible moment that I'm going through. And you're like, would you do this to an 8-year-old? Would you tell the 8-year-old, tell me what your pain is? What are you feeling if they're crying? No, you wouldn't.
yeah,
You would ask their parents, hey,
yeah, yeah.
what's going on? What's happening today? I actually had one of those, like, squids that you can, like, flip inside
Mhm.
out, and, like, one's happy
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one's sad, and so I had one of those sitting on my IV machine, and one of my nurses, she would always come in the morning and kinda, like, peek through my window and check to see if it was happy octopus or
Happy or
sad,
sad.
so she knew what she was walking into, and that was a big part of, like, what helped me get through, like, speaking moments is she would walk in and be like, "It's not a good day, is it?" And I'd be like, "Mm-mm."
Hmm.
I'm so sorry you had to go through all that. That's just
Wow.
freaking horrible. Okay,
It
we
was
gotta we
crazy.
gotta get this upbeat woman. You're gonna get me to oh,
Ah.
and so I can. This is not anywhere near what you went through, but I can almost kind of sympathize. So I not a couple of years ago, I had kidney stones. Okay, and
Oh,
this has it's
ooh,
nowhere near what you went through, but they are. I mean, this they put you to the floor. I mean, it's just you're
I've
there one
heard.
minute, yeah, and the next minute you're on the floor. And I've had pregnant women, numerous ones that have, have had more than one child and that have also had kidney stones and said they would have another child every day of the week before they would have kind of kidney stone. So it's not
Oh,
just me or whatever, but I can remember going, and this was during the pandemic. So guess what? Wife couldn't come in with me. No one could come
mhm.
in with me. I'm a
Mine was
40 something
partly
year old
during the
man.
pandemic too, and it was horrible. We were
Yeah.
at Texas Children's, and we got the power of attorney medical attorney for that exact reason. Like, I could only have
Uh,
2 visitors on my name log, and it was my mother and my grandmother, because my grandmother would come sit with me whenever mom had to
sure.
go home and check on Cody, get fresh clothes, that type of thing. I wasn't allowed to
Yeah.
even see my brother. We had to sneak him in, and I had to come outside of the floor to be able to sit with my
Wow.
brother and talk to him, because I was secluded from
Wow.
basically everyone. And if I walked outside of my room, I had to have a mask on. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
No. Yeah, that during that pandemic is just it's a bunch of BS. I mean, for me, it was very similar. My wife dropped me off. I walk in by myself. There's 0 people in the whole place, me and some nurse.
Yeah.
I go in and they're like, "What kind of pain are you in?" And I said, "Well, I just got off the ground. You saw me get up." So I'm in the pain that's so bad I fell to the ground. Uh,
Mhm.
and then you have the surgery. You wake up and they literally put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me out the back door, close the door, and my wife comes to get me.
Oh.
Uh,
No, I kicked one
But
of my nurses by accident because the pain was so, and I felt bad
wink,
because he
wink.
was, I won't lie. He was a fairly attractive nurse, but this was, like, right as I was being admitted, and he, like, grabbed my leg and he was like, "Here, does this hurt?" And he kinda, like, pushed it forward, and I screeched and, like, shot my foot out, and I kicked him, and I'm like, "I'm so sorry." But
Your
yes,
face
that
off.
hurt.
Alright,
Ah.
alright. Alright, so just one last pageant question, and then let's have some fun questions. So,
Okay.
are you do you have aspirations to try to get like, go to Miss Texas or whatever? Or you're just, "Hey, I've got to where I wanna be. I'm gonna hang out here." What do you can you even do that? I don't know how that works.
I could if I wanted to after this year. Lots of
So
people,
you're going to. Yeah, you're going to. I'm
I don't know
joking,
about
I'm
that.
joking. Go ahead.
My pageant coach wants to, like, convince me to do the USA system, because you don't have to have a talent for that one, and so, I don't know, I've
Okay.
considered it, but I'm also not someone who's willing to spend a ton of money on dresses, and the other thing is I would have to learn how to do my hair and makeup by myself, and I would only be in the back
Uh,
by myself, no help of any kind. I'm like, do I wanna do that? I'll
mm.
think about
Can you get
it.
sponsors? Can you get sponsors though, like, to help with all the
I
costs
think
and
yes, you can, but, I'm also, like, very realistic, and so I'm not gonna
No,
drop
I get it.
5 grand on a dress that I'm gonna wear one time.
Well, yeah, one time and then maybe not even place or win or whatever. Obviously you would, but
Yeah,
just in case
that's
you
the
did.
hard part. You there are multiple, scholarships you can win besides the overall crown. Because for Cinderella, you win scholarships for many different things. There's multiple crowns, multiple titles, different things you can win money and scholarships for. And same thing goes for the America and USA system, is they have different sponsors and organizations who fund the scholarships. And one of my friends, even though she won one time, but she competed for many years, she has won thousands and thousands of dollars worth of scholarships, which is a great opportunity for many, many girls that, you may be spending this type of money, but you also have the potential to win more scholarships to help pay for your college.
Oh, okay. But those scholarships, do they only go towards certain things, or can use that money for anything? They have to go towards school.
So it's Cinderella. The women, instead of getting a scholarship form, you get a check. Just because there are some women who are,
Ah, okay.
27, 28, 29, who
Yeah.
have either graduated college or just aren't going to college. So for Cinderella, they give us women a check.
Okay.
And but for the rest of the ages, you get a certificate that is literally your college fund that you put in a safety
Okay.
deposit box until you start college. And
Ah, okay.
the only way to use that money is to go to college. And so
Ah,
I feel like that is a good thing because it's also encouragement like, hey, look, you have a lot of things paid for, you should go. I think for the America system, you you have to compete. If you win a scholarship, it is for college. So if you finish your undergrad, you better be onto your masters because that is what that money is going towards, which
wow.
is,
Okay.
I mean, it's great because you're having your entire college funded for
Yeah.
you. So I wouldn't be
Yeah.
too upset about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, that's
That's cool.
interesting how that works. I wondered if that's how that I figured that was kinda how it worked, but I wondered if that was it. But, well, thanks for talking all pageant stuff. Let's do something else. How's A&F life treating you now that you've gotten used to everything and whatnot? You liking it there? 'Cause I was there when your mom was there. We dated and I dated Cheyenne's mom in college. Okay, so that's how
Disclosure.
that's how we know. But we had a ton of fun there. Texas A&M is like no other campus. I've been on tons of college campuses. There's so much tradition. There's so much pride in being an Aggie. There's all this fun stuff, and then you have Northgate, which is the best freaking place to hang out and party, as far as I'm concerned. So, how does that work for you? Well, it might not be
So that
anymore,
is a
but it used
false
to be.
statement. So back
That's your opinion.
well, not
Ah.
for like I'm not
In
saying
your
it's a
face,
bad
shut up.
place. Not saying it's a bad place to go do stuff or hang out, go to parties, whatever. It's just changed a lot since you and mom were here because they're just building the town up more. So they're
Right.
shoving more and more people here. And so Northgate has become a very dangerous place to be, actually.
Really?
I've never been to Shiner or any bar that's on Northgate just because I don't have the desire to. I'm also kind of scared to because there have been multiple arrests, there have been fights, stuff
Really?
that I just don't want to get caught up in. And so
You don't go to
I've
the
not,
chicken? Man, you have never been to the Dixie Chicken.
I mean, during the day. Yes. During the day to
Okay,
get
alright, I was gonna
food.
say,
Yes.
if you're going to A&M and you haven't been to Dixie Chicken, we might have to hang up on you right about now, 'cause that's
No. I have gone there. I recently did something fun there as well, but I've gone there to get food and to eat, but I've never gone at night
when
when it's party
nighttime
For the
time.
comes.
nightlife.
Just
Wow, that's interesting.
because Northgate has gotten so dangerous, I don't wanna get caught up in that, I don't wanna be a part of that. It's not something I
Wow.
desire to do. The place that I like to hang out is Hurricane Harry's because it's just
Oh,
a
I
dance
know Hurricane
place.
Harry's.
Yes. It's a good place for me to go and just kind of relax my mind because I like dancing. I love country
Okay.
dancing, 2 steps, doing a bunch of spins, the flips, tricks. That's what relaxes me and gets my mind off of doing homework and stressing about school or work or exams, that type of thing. Uh, there's still lots of traditions here, maybe some new ones. There obviously Yelp Midnight Yell,
Midnight
absolute
Yell.
favorite. I love it to pieces. It's so much
So much
fun.
fun.
Um,
Yeah.
Aggie football games, always amazing. They did, however, change like the intro song for a weird
Really?
reason. I don't really know because they used to do like the power at the beginning as they all run out of the tunnel. And now it's something
Yeah.
different just because some people were upset about it or something. But
Yeah.
there's still lots of traditions that happen that I love to be a part of. Hopefully soon I will be able to order my Aggie ring, which I'm very excited about.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
I was lucky enough to have the Queen Rev in one of my classes my first semester
Oh, yeah?
here, and so that was pretty fun, and I became friends with her handler, and so she was so sweet, so sweet.
Was it I guess a core member was her handler? Yeah.
Yes,
That's
yes.
cool. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, it has changed. I haven't been back to A&M in quite some time. It was probably 4 or 5
We ate
years
hot
ago,
wings.
maybe even a little long. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I met up with you. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. We went to, of course, Wings and More because that's where I worked when I was living there, and I had to have my wing and rib sampler because that's what I'd always get when I was working there. But yeah, yeah, it'd been a long time, and I always kind of showed Josh and them around the campus, but it has changed so much since I
Mhm.
lived there. When
Yes.
I lived there, the last year I lived in Melrose Apartments, and it was brand new. The very first we were not only was it we were the very first year it opened when it did open, we were the very first tenants because we lived in a house over in the Brazos Valley part of College Station, and
Mhm.
we were trying to move out of that house, and Melrose was opening up. Well, it was a 2 weeks between our lease ending and the being able to go there, and we talked them into letting us move in 2 weeks before they opened. And they let us move in, and they were literally painting my window seal in my bedroom
Oh
as we
my
moved
gosh.
in.
That's
And the coolest part is that I don't know if you've ever been to that apartment complex,
I don't
but
think
the
so.
pool is humongous. I can remember the sign right now that says 504 people is max in the pool. That's how big the pool was. And it had a stage in the middle of it, and they had DJs, and oh, David came and played there,
That's cool.
Josh.
Yeah.
There was there was these bands would play there and DJs during the week and the weekend. It was freaking awesome. And we had that place by ourselves for 2 weeks, and we're inviting all our friends in there, and it got a little crazy, and, I can just remember and they had, like, closed caption TV where we could see everybody coming in and out. I'd see if your mom would have to beep in, we'd have to let her in with a code, and all that, so that was a big deal back then, that was a
Oh
long
my
time
god.
ago,
There
but
almost
anyway.
every single apartment complex has, like, some type of big pool. There's, the
Yeah,
Cove at the barracks, and they have, like, one
yeah,
of those, like, wakeboarding machines that you
nice,
can
What?
do. Uh, I'm
that's
I'm
cool.
horrible at it. I hate doing them. I always crash and burn within 5 seconds, and then water just shoots up my nose, and I'm like,
Crash and
"Ugh."
splash.
Yeah, yeah, but I think honestly, when it's over there off of Welburn area, um,
Mhm.
but that was I think that was the first apartment complex that had like this crazy big kind of resort feel to it, and then that just slowly started happening after that. So I was part of that. It was awesome. But anyway, uh, so let's see what else. What are your guilty pleasures? I mean, do you have like because I know you're in a pageantry stuff, like as far as like, oh, I gotta keep looking good, so I can't eat this, I can't eat that. Or what's a guilty music, something that you listen like I don't know, I like Vanilla Ice, or what's that kind of stuff.
Um, I have lots, I would say, like, different types of guilty pleasures. I'm very into live music, and more so on, like, the 80s, 90s rock side, because that's how my mom raised me, was listening
The
to
old
80s rock
pygmies.
music. Yes! And
I've
I
seen you guys following
recently
the pygmies.
Yes. And Cam's been one of my biggest supporters, the lead singer of the band. He's known my
Oh, okay.
mom since she was pregnant with me, and so he's seen me grow up my entire
Oh,
life
right on.
from crawling on the stage to now and this, and he's been such, like, one of my biggest like cheerleaders, I could say, for my pageants, because he's always texting
That's
me,
cool.
hey, give me an update, what's going on, what's happening. So keeping him updated, and when he got to see that I did this, he was super excited. We saw them at the Chemo Boardwalk in Galveston,
Oh, right on.
and I came to the show in my crown and banner. And there were so many people who were like, "Well, what is this for? What are you doing?" So I got to explain the pageant, and I actually saw someone who, because 2 years ago, Cam was going on and on about how she's off to a pageant, gonna be the next Miss Texas and all of this, and so this guy comes up to me and he kinda looks at me, he's like, hold on. And so he pulls up his phone. He pulls up a picture from 1 year ago of me being at that same concert right
Oh,
before
nice.
my pageant. And he was like, "You won your pageant?" I was like, "I did." He's like, "Okay, we got to get
Yeah.
another picture to be able to do like the
Oh,
one
right
year
on.
difference." So, any type of live
That's
music
cool.
band, absolutely in love with. There's a couple local bands that I love listening to. Hold on Hollywood, they're in the Houston area. 307
I know
Departure,
those guys.
they're in the Houston area. We're
Yeah.
good friends with all of them. There is a band out of Louisiana called LA Rocks that they're absolutely amazing. Another 80s cover band. Another guilty pleasure of mine would be going out dancing. It's just a good way for me to relax and get my mind off of
You're not
things.
do these aren't guilty pleasures. Guilty pleasures are something you're kind of ashamed to tell us.
Um,
That
so
maybe you just
I'm
don't wanna tell us.
I'm lactose intolerant and I cannot stay away from ice cream.
Well,
That
there you
is my
go.
full blown. I fought my mother to buy ice cream one time at the store. Like, I grabbed it. I'm like, "Mom, please. I just want normal ice cream. I don't want the coconut milk ice
The
cream. I
lactose
don't
kind?
want
Yeah.
the sorbet. I want
Yeah.
good old fashioned Bluebell ice cream." And she was like, "Put it back. We are not getting that." I'm like, "Says you. I'll pay for it." She's like, "No,
Yeah.
you're not. You're not being sick. I'm not dealing with that." I'm like, "Fine. I'll deal with it." So I grabbed it, ran to the cash register, and paid for it with my
Nice.
card. And like right before that, I was on the
Nice.
phone with my grandma, like trying to guilt trip her into forcing my mom to let me get the ice cream. It did not work.
Uh, yeah, get grandma
Yeah,
on your side.
and and then later that night you were so
I actually didn't touch the ice cream for 3 days, but then I was like so sick to my stomach.
Oh.
Uh,
Oopsies.
I'm not lactose intolerant, but it does kind of mess with me. So I don't. I'm sure your mom told you I don't eat cheese, and people think that's
Yeah.
crazy. But
I don't
I
eat
don't. Well, I don't do a
chocolate,
lot of
and there's
ice
a lot
cream.
of people who call me like an alien for that.
That is kind of
So
that's kind of un-American. That's
I
unnatural
know,
altogether.
I know, I know. I grew up not liking
Why?
chocolate. I don't know. I just don't like the taste of it. Like, I don't even like coffee, anything cocoa related. The taste, I just
Huh?
can't do. White chocolate, I love. But if it has like cocoa in it, I'm like, like I don't even drink hot
Huh?
chocolate. It's weird.
Hmm.
Wow. I haven't heard that one before. That's a new one. Huh. Well, y'all hear that, guys? Don't give her any chocolate when you bring in the flowers. All right, no chocolate. But I was getting
Gummy
I
anything
was
gummy related, I will devour. I
Mm.
have a very
Yeah.
yeah,
bad sweet tooth
that's
for, like, gummy bears, gummy worms, sour gummy worms,
yeah.
the gummy octopus. Ooh, the Coca-Cola
Lifesaver
ones. Oh
gummies.
my gosh,
Oh,
those are
the
amazing.
Coca-Cola
Yes.
ones. I remember when those came out in the '80s. It blew my mind. You could only get them at this one candy store in Austin in the mall. So we would drive to Austin when we were in middle school with our parents, so we could go to get the gummy cokes at the candy shop in the
Oh,
Austin
they're
Mall.
You need to
so
bite off the
good.
top to pretend you're opening it.
Yep,
I do
you
that
totally did.
too!
So you like all the Haribo? Is that how you say it? That's
Yes.
the brand that I love. Those are the best because
They're
they're
too
kind
There's
of
firm for
gummy
me.
hard
bears
but
that
not hard.
I like them because 'cause they're a little bit, like, tougher to chew,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's gummy bears that I get at Buc-ee's that
Oh, okay.
I will devour an entire bag, make myself sick, I do not care, but I actually found the brand that they were, so I don't have to go all the way to Buc-ee's to get them,
Mm.
I can go to the grocery store. Now, is it a little expensive? Maybe. Is it more than I wanna pay? Totally. Do I still get it? 100%.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, you have to. But okay, well, I know you need to go. So what couple more one more thing, and then
Yeah,
we'll do our
you're
little
good.
outros that we always do. I have to ask you because there's going to be a bunch of young people listening to this. So, are you
Okay.
single?
Oh my
And
god.
and what qualities do you look for in I don't know, men, women, whatever it is you're into? What are the we have to ask you that, right? I mean,
I
we have
know,
to.
I know, I know. I would not say I'm single at the moment. I
Okay.
yeah. Um,
Fair enough.
I I know. Weird for me to say, actually. But I'm dating the drummer from 307 Departure, the
Oh,
band.
okay.
Yes. He's a
Oh, right on.
sweetheart. I like to say golden retriever vibes, which there's going to be some
Okay.
people who understand that statement. And then there's going to be people like my mom who are like, Cheyenne, you're insane. What does that even mean? But he's super sweet, a great soul. He makes me laugh. And the best part is he's amazing with my family. So
Oh, that's
that's,
good.
I
That's
mean, my
that's the
brother's
main
on the
thing.
autism spectrum. And so I've always been told by my mom my entire life, like, he's a really big part of my family. And I have to find someone who fully accepts my
Sure.
Yeah.
brother and everything. And they gang up on me and they both hit me in the face with tortillas before. So I think they get along
The
pretty
old
well.
the old tortilla slap in the face, huh?
Yeah, Cody picked me up and, like, held me, and then Josh came up and whacked me across the face with a tortilla. I'm like, "Y'all, really? This is what you're doing to me right now?"
Oh, that's awesome. Well, he's a lucky guy. You're a wonderful young lady.
Oh, thank
So that's
you.
that's that's awesome. But so at the end of we always kind of do this, hey, what are you doing this weekend thing? So we got to ask you, what are you doing this weekend? Anything cool?
Ooh, this weekend, sitting at home and taking a Physics 2 final. Yeah.
Yuck. All right. I'm
I
sorry I asked
yeah.
you.
I summer school, I in college, summer school is not like a bad thing. Like you would think, in high school you have to do summer school,
Yeah.
it's because you flunked a
Yeah.
class. No, in college you do summer school so
To
you
get
can
ahead.
finish quicker.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, get the
it's
heck out.
a bigger curriculum in a smaller period of time. And so you do kind of have to work a little bit harder, but it's totally worth it because it knocks it out of the way and you don't have to ever worry about it again.
And you stay
Right
in the
on.
routine.
That sounds horrible, but yeah, I'm glad you're doing that. We're not,
I
but
am.
anyway. Oh yeah, that's Josh. You're what is that? Is that what you're
Gone
doing?
back to
Well,
school.
no,
Yeah.
yeah, but you're not doing that this week. Well, you are, but what are you doing this weekend to begin with, though?
Oh, this I'm coming up to see you, and we're gonna go hang out.
Yeah,
Go see.
yeah. We're gonna go see. Go ahead.
No.
My bad. I didn't mean to jump on you. Uh, go. You do it. You do. You say it. Okay, that was really
What?
odd, weird
What?
moment there. All right.
I thought
I'll
y'all
have
were
to
about
edit
to
that
say
out.
something.
No, we are. So no, we're going to Dan Silverleaf in Denton to see Jarrett Ray Reddick, which we interviewed yesterday. He's the lead singer of Bowling for Soup, and he's Chuck E. Cheese, and he's all these other things. And his country band is playing here in Denton, and Josh is coming up, so we can go watch his country band for the first time. So that's what we're doing this weekend. That and
That sounds
Riker,
amazing.
yeah, it should be fun. And then Riker turned 13 this week, so this weekend he's having all his buddies over. We're taking them paintball and all that crap. So I'm gonna have a bunch of stinky 13-year-old kids in my house. I gotta make them all take showers, otherwise my house will smell like hell. But yeah, that's about all we're doing. Nothing too fun. But well, Cheyenne, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. It was fun.
Thank
I'm
you
glad we
for
had you
having
on.
me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's we'll have you back again. Seriously, it was awesome to talk to you, and you were so open, and we appreciate that because not everybody is. And you being because you're so used to answering questions, you made it so easy for us. So we really appreciate it. And
Thank
anyway,
you.
uh, we are good to go. I think it'll be another week. I'm trying to think who's going to be coming on next. I don't know. I'm working on a lot of different stuff right now. Oh, we have a Playboy model coming on sometime later in a couple of months.
Mhm.
So there's but we're not gonna say who. But all right, so thanks everybody for listening and go buy some shirts. Dang it. And to pay for all this crap. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank y'all.
Bye.
We are gone.